have to determine the quantities of each thing that you want to produce, and I know y'all know that. There's some pretty good sources for trying to decide what it is. Like, it's one thing to just arbitrarily say, I want to have a few tomatoes or a few peppers or something, but it's something entirely different to say, I want to grow enough food for my family to live off of. So then you got to have some way of figuring out how much food does it take to live off of, right? Well, the ProfitLiving.org site actually has some great information on it. Under the heading gardening, I didn't put that up to the side, but it's ProfitLiving.org/gardening, and if you go to their website, they have a calculator there to help you figure out how much food you have to have. Whoops, wrong slide. Then they've got the Cooperative Extension Service, which has great pamphlets and stuff for figuring out what quantities of food grow on a plant here in Georgia and the Atlanta area. There's an interactive garden calculator. I actually have, the only way I can make this work is to get back to my computer, and so I'm going to do that just for 1 second to show you. If anybody's interested in this, I can email it to them. But this right here is a Excel spreadsheet, and the way it works, I've got this thing set up that you just put in the number of family members that you have, and then you come down to this column where it says meals per week. You decide how many times a week you want to eat something, and then how many ounces per meal you want to have, and this will then calculate how many pints of food you're growing, how many lineal feet of garden space you need, how many seeds, how many ounces of seeds, and all that kind of stuff it'll tell you. For example, if I go down here and I decide I want to have green bush beans, and I want to eat them twice a week, and I want to have 6-ounce servings of it, you see it's telling me I need 1.3 rows that are 100 feet long, so I need 130 lineal feet of green beans in order to feed a family. This is for right now set up for a family of 2. So if I was doing it for a family of 4, you can see I would need 260 lineal feet of space to grow it. And also a calculator tells you over here what months that you have to plant these things. So these kind of programs exist. The church has one as well on their website. Now, back to here. I was just warned I only have a couple minutes, so I guess I'm going to go a little bit quicker. You got to draw it up on paper. This is a paper plan that I created for Sharon and I many years ago. And when we started out, our garden literally consisted of a couple of tomato plants. And but this is where we are right now. We have, that's our house, and there's a shop there, and that's our garden. We have apples, pears, plums, and figs over there. We've got peach trees down here. We have a row of blueberries right here. We have grapevines growing here. We have a little greenhouse back here, and we've got blackberries right inside here. And then in the front yard, we have some herbs, we have asparagus garden. And this doesn't exist yet, but this was part of my master plan that we created. I mean, we want to have some chickens. I'm never going to wring a chicken's neck, I'll tell you that. But I would gladly eat all the eggs they can produce. And so we will have some chickens right here. And we're going to try to get 8 because you're allowed in Powder Springs to have up to 8, and they're considered pets. And so Sharon said she's going to name them after her ancestors. And this right here, I'm actually going to put in a pond. It seems like, at least in our neighborhood, it rains real heavy up until the day you plant. And then it doesn't rain again until the fall. And so we're going to put in a deep pond that's not for swimming or anything, but it's going to hold about 8,000 gallons of water. And that's what I'm going to use so that I don't have to pay the city for the water. And we're just going to collect the water, filter it, and then water the garden. Then back here, that's my little greenhouse, and then right here, we are going to put us in one of these aquaculture gardens. I don't know if y'all are familiar with those, but the idea is you have fish tanks that are growing fish, and then above the fish tanks are all kinds of foods, watercress, lettuces, and things of that nature, and then hanging baskets above that. The water circulates out of the tank, waters the plants, the nutrition from the plants drips down and feeds the fish, and then the waste from the fish feeds the plants, and so it's kind of a circular enclosed system. There's a fella up in, this is what got me turned on to this, is a fellow in Wisconsin has a greenhouse that same size, and of this right here. And every year he produces 6,000 pounds of fish that he sells, and 6,000 pounds of food, of vegetables and stuff, out of a greenhouse that size right there. And I figured if I'm half as smart as him, maybe I can get 1,500 pounds of it. But anyway, again, we started off and all we had was right up in that area where it's now ours. We had some tomato plants. And so just over time, you try to improve it. That's what you do. But we had an end in mind when we began. We've lived in the same house 28 years, and so that's what we've been doing. That's our grape trellises. And you see, ain't no grapes on them right now, but when it gets done, we'll have quite a few grapes here. That's our little greenhouse that we put in. And you can see one of the blueberry bushes right in the middle, right in front of it. We have about 13 of those. And that greenhouse is 30 feet long and 10 feet high. There's all kinds of greenhouses. I mean, a really good greenhouse is some 8-foot long poles tilted, leaning together like a lean-to or a teepee, and then with a piece of plastic on it. And that makes it great. You don't have to do something like this. Brother Wood he takes, I don't even know where he gets them, but some sort of wood, short pieces of U-shaped plastic, and then he covers that with polyethylene, and so all he does is cover the little road of his garden with the greenhouse. You don't even have to have a greenhouse. The only reason I want a greenhouse is so that I can extend the growing season. That's our little garden area right there. It's all dead right now, at least wintertime, but you can barely see them. There's the fruit trees all along the fences around on the backside. We were very careful when we did this thing to orient stuff with north, south, east, and west, and you have to kind of understand that if you're doing that. There's some great resources. This fellow named Mitlider has a gardening course. He has a website. You can go to it. You can buy a course, a book. It's an e-book. You can get it for $12. And this fella can produce a garden that is 330% greater than the average garden. So, like, if I can grow 1 pound of tomatoes in my garden in the same space, he can grow 330 pounds of tomatoes. And it all has to do with proper nutrition. He's the guy who's pioneered the effort to make sure that food has proper nutrition. I'll be kicked out. There's the actual recipe that you ought to have for fertilizer. These are the things that plants really need and the humans need. So that's actually, it's dirt cheap. It's cheaper than buying commercial fertilizer. It's nice and stuff. That's great fertilizer. That's it. Any questions? Right across.